The first tutorial of DataStaging tool showed us how to generate the XML and SQL scripts for Stage 1 and Stage 2 mappings of Informatica. Now we shall see how these XMLs are imported into Informatica and utilized to create your Stage 1 and Stage 2 mappings. The first thing we do is run the create table scripts. I am using Toad for this. Patient record 1 is my Stage 1 table create script. My table has been created for Stage 1. Next, the Stage 2 create table script. My Stage 2 table has been created. Now we go to the Informatica repository to import our XMLs. For an example, I shall run the combined staging mapping for you. Every time you use DataStaging tool to generate your XMLs and import them into Informatica, the session, workflow and mapping names will always be the same. So make sure whenever you import, you rename your workflow sessions and mappings. As of now, I shall use it as is because this is the first time we are using it. So the combined XML has been imported. Let us have a look at the mapping in the designer. So this is the mapping in short, my patient record flat file, the SQ for patient record, my calculations, and the final cleansed data, that is my Stage 2 table. Before you run the mapping, there are a few things that you need to do. The first thing is, the data staging tool that we had unzipped has to be placed on the service DB in the server location as well, that is the location where Informatica is running. I have used WinSCP to do this. So you can see my data staging present here. Make sure you have execute rights on all the folders and source files that you are importing onto the server. Let us go to the workflow. Now this is the combined workflow. My sessions shows invalid. You go to the mapping. My Stage 2 database connection had to be provided. I had mentioned EDW12 on the Excel sheet provided. So you provide your source and target details. The SQ patient record. So the patient record .csv file of mine is present in the source file directory $pm source file directory. So make sure your flat file is present on the server location. Again, I'm using WinSCP to do this. So here my source file is present. Make sure you have read write and execute writes on this as well. Another thing you will have to look into is the file properties, as it is a flat file. It is a delimited file. I go to my advanced. Comma is already specified. It is by default. It is asking me if I need to skip any of my initial rows. The first row in my flat file are column names, so I skip my initial row. Once you're done with setting your file properties, I guess our workflow is ready to run. I save my session. Go to your workflow. I validate my workflow. Save it. The workflow is ready to run. Start workflow. The workflow would have run by the time the monitor opens up. As you can see, my automated mapping combined one has succeeded. Let us go to the toad and check if the record details have come into my target table for stage 2. Okay, so let us give a select star on my stage 2 table. That is BCBS. Okay, let us just copy it from my clean script. Oh, I'm so sorry. Select star from BCBS ND stage 2. Here you go. Those are the records. If you remember the SQL filter given in my Excel sheet, the DRG code lies in 8,10. You can have a look at the records present. The DRG code lies in 8 and 10. Here is the date format which I wanted my dates to be in. The admission date, the discharge date. The load date has been provided to you. The source system, which was user defined and given by me, has been given here. The batch ID and the status. Every time you run the new mapping again, the batch ID would be incremented by 1. The batch ID can not just be generated by the mapping but can also be provided by you through a parameter file. Once you're giving a batch ID by means of a parameter file, make sure the parameter file details are mentioned in your session. That is all for now. I hope the data staging tool tutorials were useful for you. Thank you so much.